You will not hear a new theme for Batman. You'll hear Batman's theme for Batman. Now, Hans has done some wonderful, very driving, rhythmic stuff, but there's only been ever one theme, and it's Batman's theme.
Hey guys, so Justice League is a new film in the DC cinematic universe and a direct sequel to the 2016 Batman v Superman, which was composed by Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL, and Junkie XL was originally chosen to do the score for the Justice League. But with Zack Snyder departing from the post-production process because of a family tragedy and Joss Whedon coming in, the movie reportedly might have a big tone shift, and with that they decided to also change the composer. And then introducing Danny Elfman, who stepped in literally only months before the movie's release, which is certainly not an ideal position to be in, especially for this huge of a movie and these huge characters. And I had to say, I was very excited when I heard the news, because Danny Elfman is certainly one of the best composers in the business, and he certainly isn't a stranger composing for superheroes, so I was extremely excited to listen what he has to offer. Now, first and foremost, Danny Elfman creates a whole orchestra score, which from style here is very different to previous DCEU films, which relied heavily on electronic sounds and bombastic drums, so this alone is a major tone shift. Now, the second part is more interesting, because Danny Elfman actually used his Batman theme from the 1989 Tim Burton film and Superman's theme from 1978 composed by John Williams, so the Man of Steel piano theme cannot be found anywhere in this movie, and the Batman theme from BBS also. Now, with that out of the way, Danny Elfman didn't ditch entirely the previous scores in this DC cinematic universe, because you can hear the Krypton theme from Man of Steel and the Wonder Woman theme created in BVS. But those are the only connections that are left to the previous movies from the music standpoint. Now, the other and more important question is, do those 30 or 40 years old themes work for these new characters and for this new movie? Or is it just fan service? Well, let's find out. When I first heard the news that Danny Elfman will replace Junkie XL, I expected him to create an epic theme for the Justice League, not for the characters but for the league as a whole, so that when it plays you will get chills. Those were my expectations, and Danny Elfman created such a theme, and it is called the Heroes theme on the album, but I can hardly remember when that theme played during the movie, because in all crucial and epic moments, the music that is played is the characters' themes, so when you see Wonder Woman or Batman doing something awesome, you will hear their themes. Now, for me, and I know this will be a major discussion topic, but for me that didn't work at all, and the decision to play the old themes for Batman and Superman from the 80s and 90s was a full fan service from the studio and Danny Elfman. The major reason why this didn't work for me is that this Batman and this Superman don't have the same characteristics as in those films from the 80s and 90s. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely adore those old themes, and I think as themes or motifs they are the best, but when I hear, for example, the 1989 Batman's theme, I immediately imagine the gothic world that Tim Burton created for that movie. So when that music plays in this new film, and I especially remembered one scene near the end of the movie in which Batman drives in his Batmobile and all this CGI apocalyptic world is around him, and then the 1989 Batman's theme plays in all his glory. I mean, I almost laughed how stupid it was. As for the other music apart from those themes, it's fine, but nothing special or exciting, and the Mentioned Heroes theme is not a motif that you'll remember as a definitive theme for the Justice League. So in my opinion, Danny Elfman spent the most time searching for scenes where he can put those old themes and incorporating those themes with a whole score, then actually creating an exciting new score that the Justice League deserves. So to conclude it all, Danny Elfman's score for Justice League is a major disappointment that brings nothing new or exciting to the table, and the use of the old 80s and 90s Batman and Superman theme didn't work because that music doesn't represent the characteristics that these superheroes have in this new DC cinematic universe. So it was complete fan servicing, and I'm gonna give it 34 out of 100. If this film was an homage to the history of these superheroes like this year's The Lego Batman movie was, then I would understand the decision to use the old music. But now it's just a misstep, so to quote a smart TV character, new is always better. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, if you love movie soundtracks or movies in general, feel free to subscribe because this is the channel for you. So subscribe, click the thumbs up button if you like this particular video, and comment. What do you think about the score for Justice League? Did you like the use of those old themes? Tell me all about it. I'm really curious because this is certainly a worthy discussion topic. Thank you once again, and I'll see you next time.